there is something to me reflective of the overall media environment, overall communication environment, the overall conversation that we're trying to have, not just me and you.
You made an interesting point here. When I looked at your notes, the idea of why conversation feels like an interrogation, and not all conversation per se, but there is a jumping off point that this movie provides, because what you're watching is a conversation. The entire film is essentially a conversation. There's really no action until the very ending. And so it really makes you consider what a conversation is. What is that? What is and it's something that's colored by intention. It's something that's colored by the technical aspects of it, whether you use language, how you use language, the tone of voice, and that's where the nonsense part of the conversation comes in, because it shows, okay, what if we remove this? What if we don't speak normally, and we speak in this kind of like roundabout turn of phrases and kind of like absurd style of speaking, but it's still a conversation and it still progresses nonetheless, even though sometimes it doesn't seem like it makes sense. And so it makes you think of what a conversation can really be. And this I think about a lot, because I think that particularly now, where so many of our conversations are happening in online mediums that are heavily restricted, whether it's character limits or simply just that it's text with no body language behind it, all of these things alter what a conversation is. They add something, they take something away, and they change conversation. But a culture also can change conversation. And I think this is kind of what you're talking about, in the way that, do our conversations feel more like interrogations now? I like this idea, because it does feel like we're living in a time where even when you speak with your own friends, depending on, how you see eye to eye to them, whatever, hopefully you have friends that you can speak brutally, honestly, and directly without having to kind of suss out, what do they think about this? Is it okay if we talk about this? Because that's exhausting. That takes away from the conversation, because you're having to do kind of this background work in your mind about having the conversation. But this idea of conversation as becoming more of an interrogation, why do you think that?
Because so many fundamental values and things which the culture used to take for granted have become upended and are being questioned. And this was the example I gave when we were going back and forth about some of these issues, was that I had a friend who texted me at 7 a.m. and said, it was something along the lines of book banning. What's your opinion? And it's a friend that I've known for a long time and respect, and intelligent person, and we don't see eye to eye on several things, maybe politically or this or that, but we have good conversations. But see, the problem is that, first the problem is why it's the year 2022, and it's unfortunate that question even has to be raised. It's a little unfortunate that question has to be. I understand why, right? Because I think this person was saying in the context of school districts, I guess, were banning particular texts that they found offensive or whatever. I don't really know a great deal about that, and so but do you see? We're in a position now where at 7 a.m. I get a text message, which I'm not awake. Number one, sometimes I'm not even asleep yet. But also, how can I answer that? Number one, how can I answer that via text message?
Yeah.